that Monday morning dread when, Sunday evening comes and you're like, oh my gosh, do I have to go to this place again? Do I have to do this all over again? And that's really where I was. And so I was like, I've got to do something that's going to give me at least some outlet while I'm still here so that I can at least tolerate that until I really totally leave this place.
And I think it nice because I think it was a clear explanation of what really happens. Because when people are on top of the game, it's welcome to the Business Ownership Podcast, brought to you by Awareness Strategies, helping you navigate the waters between entrepreneurship and ownership. Hey there, peeps. This is Michelle Nedlick, and I'm super glad that you're here with us today because I am here with my most amazing guest, Lolita. Lolita, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Well, thank you, Michelle. I'm so excited and so grateful that you have me here today.
So, give everybody the highlight of who you are and what you do for business.
Oh, okay. Well, I am Lolita Cleveland, and I am a wife, a mom, a grandmom, and I help women entrepreneurs with side businesses. So, someone who's working a 9 to 5 job and they have a side business become confident, empowered, and financially independent leaders who create six figures and beyond.
Nice. I love it. Well, we will totally get into the hows of that. But before we do, how did you get into that as your niche or niche?
Well, because that was me. That was me working that full time job and not being fulfilled, not happy, not anything. And I really wanted to be free of that job. And I wanted something else to do, didn't know what to do. So I did end up getting into direct sales before I became a certified mindset coach. So, but I sat there for years and I did not leave. So I had to figure out if I wasn't going to leave, I had to become comfortable in who I was at that time so that I would not be miserable every day.
Right.
and just figured out until it was time to leave.
Nice. So let's talk about kind of the precursor to somebody going and getting a sidekick. What do you think, or what, in your opinion, makes people dissatisfied with where they're at? In that, some of these women are fantastically successful in their business, and everybody from the outside looking in goes, yeah, but that's the pinnacle. That's where we want to be. So
Mm-hmm.
what do you think happens, or what typically will go on? Are there any red flags that somebody should be aware of? There was 28 questions in there. Go take it wherever you want.
Oh, okay. So I think, it's an internal thing. It's really you being frustrated and not being fulfilled in where you are, because that's where I found myself really asking the question. Because I remember sitting at my desk asking myself, is this it? Is this all that life has to offer? Am I going to continue to come here every day and then do this same thing over and over again and then leave, retire, and then boop? So that was the thing that I was really asking myself. So I think it comes from that longing for something more, something different, to really do something that brings you meaning, brings you joy.
Mm-hmm.
And that was not bringing me joy at all. And it really wasn't fulfilling. So I think that's just like that internal thing that's going on, and just asking yourself like all of these questions. And then it's like that Monday morning dread when, Sunday evening comes and you're like, oh my gosh, do I have to go to this place again? Do I have to do this all over again? And that's really where I was. And so I was like, I've got to do something that's going to give me at least some outlet while I'm still here so that I can at least tolerate that until I really totally leave this place.
And I think it nice because I think it was a clear explanation of what really happens. Because when people are on top of the game, it's there's an exercise and a strife and a I get to do something on an ongoing basis when you don't know how to do it, even if you feel completely incompetent. At least there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and you go, okay, one day I'm going to be good at this. And the issue comes is when you're good at something and you've been good at it long enough, that sense of satisfaction is gone, and you really, I think, need to tune into that sense of dissatisfaction because it's a good thing. We want to be able to grow. We want to be able to change, and oftentimes people will think, well, clearly I need a new hobby, or maybe I need a new car. And that's not really, it's like, no, there's something bigger driving that force of, what do I want to be when I grow up? And as you eloquently put it, it's that final boop. You're going, okay, we only got one ride at this, and it's not going to be as much fun. It's a funny thing. We were having a conversation once, and I said, I always thought I'd live to 150, but I always thought it would kind of be those same years as when I was 30 to 40, just kind of repeating itself more often than not. And it's like, no, it doesn't really work that way. So, yeah. Do you find a typical kind of time period or anything like that where people are kind of entering that stage of dissatisfaction, or are there kind of any consistencies, or is it completely random individual?
I think it's an individual thing. I don't think that there's any one stage or not, because literally I entered my stage when I was really about 36, but it took me until I was 56 to leave.
You have patience, girl. A lot more patience than I have, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, so I do have a lot of patience, and I'm gonna tell you, that's when I really became engrossed with I loved Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar, I'm telling you, if I were to say somebody really helped to save my life, was Zig Ziglar. It was like listening to him motivated me to get up and to go and do what I needed to do, and then come back. And then all those other motivational tapes and CDs and all of that helped tremendously.
Oh, yeah.
Other than that,
Other than that, it would have been kind of hopeless, because I think that 20 years is a substantial, like, I give you credit in that, because a lot of people, if they spend that much time in something that's not working for them, they start to eat themselves up internally and think that, well, it's just me. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at anything else, can't do anything else, and got to suck it up and, get the paycheck at the end of the day. So if somebody was listening to this and they're going like, that sounds really noble, but I can't. Kind of what things were instrumental to you to be able to kind of get the nerve to go, well, I can at least look at something else.
Yeah. So I think that just being that total unfulfillment. And I knew that the only way that I could leave is to replace that income. And because my husband told me, he said, I have become accustomed to a certain way of life. And I am not willing to stop living this way. And I'm like, okay. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start this side thing here. And it was fun. It was really fun. And because it was in the beauty industry. So it was fun. And I was like, oh, and it brought me fulfillment that, it's like when you put something on a woman and they look in the mirror and they're like, oh, I look beautiful. And I was like, oh, this is awesome.
All right.
So that gave me the joy. And
Nice.
it's not something that I would have ever totally done in my entire life, because I was a total tomboy. So there was no makeup, there was no nothing, none of that. But I wanted something that was going to help me to serve somebody else. And I just happened to find it in that. And so I would say is that for the person, just be willing to step outside of yourself and see how you can serve somebody else. Because what I have found through the years is that when I'm serving somebody and helping them and everything else, it gives me joy and it feeds me internally.
Nice. I love that. So at what point in this whole process do people usually get a hold of you and go, hey, I need help. This isn't working the way I thought it was gonna? or I'm afraid it might turn out the way I think it's going to.
Well, that's when they get stuck, really,
Mhm.
because I got stuck. I had found success in what I was doing, the part-time thing, found wonderful success in it and had reached a level, but I wanted to go higher, but I got stuck. And I kept doing the same thing over and over again. And it's like, then you find another strategy. Oh, okay, I'm going to do it like this. And then that didn't work. And then it's like, oh, here's a strategy over here. I'm going to do it like this. And it didn't work. So finally, I was like, okay, something has to give here. Something is going on. And it's not about a strategy. It's not about me doing something else, but something internally is going on. And that's when I started looking inward to figure out what was wrong, what was I thinking, what was I feeling, to figure out how I could move from the place that I was to the place that I wanted to be.
Mhm. Well, and I think people find that so hard, and it sounds easy. Oh, just get out of the tracks and you'll be fine. But so many times we're looking at it and going, I don't know what's wrong. I think I've tried
Mhm.
everything that I should be trying, and it's still not working out. So then kind of, is there a nudge? Is there a hit? What happens in your experience that people start to reach out, or they're either they see that they should be reaching out or they're brave enough to reach out? What tends to happen that epiphany comes along?
One of the ways one of the just like recently, someone was just not moving. They weren't motivated to move in their business. They knew that they wanted to do their business, but she wasn't motivated at all, and she didn't understand why. And so that's when she began to reach out and say, this is what's happening, and I know it's not something external. I know it's something internal, so I need help. And then, I have another one that knew exactly what to do and everything. But she was not doing it because she was afraid. She was afraid to go forward and to do those things. So you just need that extra nudge, that extra accountability, and somebody saying, yes, you can do this. Yes, you're going to be afraid. And it's okay. You know, we all, it's like when I think back, we all do things that we're afraid of. When we first start a job, we're afraid. But because somebody is giving us a paycheck, we say, "Ooh, I have to do that." But then when we want to do stuff for ourselves, we're like, "Ooh, I'm afraid. I can't do that. I can't do that." And so, it's like, if we just think about that for a moment, it's like they're paying you over there, but that's really not what you want to do. And here you want to do this, but you won't do it. So,
Yeah. So how do you kind of either artificially or otherwise create that sense of urgency for yourself that I don't have any choices? I mean, for me it was rather easy because it was like nobody else is going to hire me, and if they do, I'm just going to tick them off and they're going to fire me again. So there's really no point in pursuing that anymore. This is it. It has to work. We're done, and go make it happen. How do you kind of help them transition through that, or give them that sense of um, urgency?
one of the things that I like to do, it's a tool. It's called the 7 layers of why. And why do you want it? And why is this important? And, just keep going down to really get to the deep core of why do you want to do this? And I know for me, one of the things is that I wanted to show my family what was possible. I wanted to show my husband that we could go on these 5-star trips. And so it was like just really digging down deep to figure out exactly why do you want to do this, and really be getting clear on why, because that's the thing that's going to motivate you in the end. Because I think about my children. If I tell them that I'm going to do something, and then I all of a sudden and I say, oh, you know what, I changed my mind, I was too afraid, I was just too scared to get it done and everything else. What am I telling them? What kind of message am I sending to them? that it's okay to quit. It's okay to not do. It's okay not to be your best. It's okay to allow fear to just keep you where you are. So that's not the message that I ever wanted to send to my children.
So one of the things I love about children is that they will echo it to you and you go, oh. So, you go and ask them to clean the room. It's like, I changed my mind. I don't think I really want to. I go, where'd you hear that from? Oh, sounds familiar. Okay, we're cleaning your room. Let's go. And by the way, yes, I will do that thing that I said I was going to do that I didn't do. It was awesome. Well, and to me, it is so much fun to go into the mindset of kind of why we do the things we do and how to see the things we do. Kind of funny story on that one. We went and I dragged my spouse across the planet to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. And the last section of it is about 6 hours in pitch black, climbing to the crater top, I guess. And it's like one step up, two steps down, and you're just kind of sliding in this rock pile for what seemed like an eternity. And I finally said, like, I'm done. I'm out of here. I've hit my max and I'm out of here. He looks at me and goes, you didn't drag me halfway around the world to stop now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what am I going to do? Go back there and wait for him and go, hey, how was the top? Like, it was a really dumb plan. And I went, oh my God, where am I doing this my entire life thinking that, I can't get through that chasm or whatever? Because if somebody's used to making 300,000 at work and they're like, oh, I think I'll go and do this side hustle. They're making, $23 a month. It's how do you justify, how do you rock, how do you overcome that chasm of there's going to be the sensation of clawing your way up a hill in the middle of pitch black and you're not getting anywhere real fast. So how do you help them to navigate that experience?
One of the things is that when we first started whatever profession it was, we didn't start off making that 2 to 300,000. So you have to start somewhere, and it's how quickly do you want to move forward? Because if you're not willing to do the work and everything else, then you will continue to make those $23 an hour. But if you're willing to become uncomfortable, willing to do the necessary things to move your business forward, then you will see the rewards and you will get to the money that you want to make. So it's all about, we all start at some point, no matter what career, no matter where we are, if we work for somebody else, if we work for ourselves. So it is just a matter of dedication, putting in the time, and then staying focused and being really clear and intentional about what we need to do. And which is, another thing that people sometimes that I see is that they're not really clear and they're not intentional, because they might have like a list of things that they want to do, and then they have them all out and they don't know where to start. And so it puts them into inactivity and they just look at it and it's like, what am I doing today? And then they're thinking about all of these things and everything else. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, I'm tired.
That was overwhelming. Worst day ever. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think when we do that, we'd see it as a pattern or a trend to stop ourselves from taking action. We're afraid to take action, so we overwhelm ourselves with possibilities of what could, should, might happen, and don't just stop to go, okay, well, that'll take me 5 minutes. Maybe I'll start with that one.
Exactly.
How do you help them to go from that feeling of this is overwhelming, it's scary, it's whatever? How do we start breaking down that overwhelm?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked me that. So one of the things is that we really get clear on the goal. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then we just break it down. So it's like today, like I have like boards on for my clients over here. Okay. These are the 3 things that you get to do today. And so once you do this, this, and this, now you can look over here and pick out something else that you can do that will help to move your business forward. But it's the most important things that's going to actually move the needle are the things that we work on. And so I have them write it down on a sticky little note
Hmm.
and we put it right there. So that way, that every day that they get up, they see this is what I do, and we prioritize them. This is your first thing, this is your second thing, and then this is your third thing. And then once you've done that, then you can move on to something else that you want to work on.
Nice. I love it. Well, and so many times I see people overcomplicating what they have to do. It's like they really have to do this one thing, but it's like, oh, but the baseboards, those are really dirty right now. I can't possibly start my own business with dirty baseboards. Yeah, no, that one's just a distraction. That one doesn't really need to happen at all, ever. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it can happen in business too. I've seen so many people create business models that are so really complicated. And it's like, business is really about three things essentially, right? Like,
Mhm.
it's just really not that tough.
Yeah,
But everything
exactly.
becomes kind of the list of priorities and not. Awesome.
I,
So in a moment, I'm going to ask you about a Cinderella story of one of your clients. But before I do that, we're going to take a quick break.
Are you running a business over 7 figures but still struggling with technology headaches? Pay attention, you do not want to miss this offer. This podcast episode is brought to you by Awareness Strategies, who is offering a custom-built digital adoption roadmap for anyone running a business over 7 figures who's wanting to grow their business in the next 5 years. And it's not just a roadmap, they offer full implementation as well if that scares the out of you. Check out awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap for more details today. The link's in the show's notes. Don't regret not doing this. Do it now. That's awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap.
So I'm super excited to hear about a Cinderella story of one of your clients.
oh, awesome. So I have this client, and when she came to me, she was not really working in her business. She was creating distractions every day, just creating. And so she was procrastinating on everything. She was afraid to talk to people. And so she would just go and just really not have meaningful conversations with anyone. She was sort of perfectionistic tendencies, and because she felt like everything had to be perfect before she would even put it out to the world. And so we've been working together, and now we created a plan for her that these are the things that you do on a daily basis. And one of those things is, just creating meaningful conversations. And sometimes that's really difficult for people to have meaningful conversations. But if, just like me and you here, I mean, we can just talk about just anything because it's real, it's honest, and it's the same thing with it. Become interested in somebody else because it's not about you. It's about being in service to other people. So I really got her to really understand that. And so now I am so excited that she is stepping out of her comfort zone. She's having meaningful conversations, and the procrastination has gone down a lot. And her fear is really diminishing. And so she is really working her business, and she is beginning to see that the because she's being in service to other people, that the income is beginning to flow to her.
Nice.
So which is really exciting.
That is super exciting. And I think that is such a huge lesson for a lot of people that go and run their own businesses, because there's a huge chasm between working for another company and promoting the company. It's very impersonal, and you can do it without emotions, pretty easy to do. And you can boast it if you're excited to go to work in the morning. And then you go out and it's like, oh, but I have to promote me.
Mm-hmm.
And that psychologically becomes almost impossible for almost anyone to do. And the fastest, easiest way to overcome that, like you said, is focusing on them and realizing that we've been taught for so long not to talk to strangers, not to do these things, and we have to overcome all of the silliness that's getting in the way. And it's really just that. It feels overwhelming, it feels real, but it
Mm-hmm.
really is kind of just things that were meant to keep you safe, and you don't need that anymore.
Exactly. We can let it go. Ooh.
So are there kind of typical, I want to kind of hit the usual villains, if you will, of kind of not wanting to promote yourself, not talking to other people? Are there kind of a handful of those that people can look at and go, oh yeah, I do that?
Yeah. So that, you know what, the story that I would tell myself was that I didn't have enough knowledge.
Mhm.
I didn't know enough. So it's like I don't know enough, or I'm too old, and it's like, oh my goodness, I think I'm in the prime of life, and literally, and I don't mind saying my age and what have you. I am 62 years old, and so I am in the prime of my life, and I am excited and everything else. And so, so it's like I don't believe in me. I can't do that. So these are the things that are going on in their head, and they're like, how can I leave this job? This is all I know. I'm too afraid to step out and do something else. I'm just going to stay here. And I'm like, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I love it. Well, I know our listeners are going to want more from you. How did they start that journey with you?
Well, they can first find me on LinkedIn. So I am on LinkedIn, and under Lolita Cleveland one. And
Okay.
so that's my social media handle, basically on everything, Facebook, and Instagram. And also, I have a free guide that I'd love to be able to put into their hands, and it's called Fearless Female Entrepreneur, and it's minimizing fear and maximizing success.
Nice.
So I'd love to get that into their hands. Yeah.
We would love to have that in our hands. So we will, of course, have all of Lolita's links in the show notes. Go ahead and scroll down, click on the link, open up in a new browser because we're not done yet. So, Lolita, I guess to ask you, at what point in life did you know you were especially kind of crazy enough to think that you could become an entrepreneur?
Well, I think it was at 35. It just took me a little bit longer.
Nice.
So yes, but I'm just so grateful for the journey because I learned a lot along that journey, and so that has made me a better person and a better me, and able to help other people along that journey.
I love it. And we're so glad you did. So you've been amazing. Any last words for our peeps?
The only thing that I would say is that, if you have that nagging and that longing to do something different, don't deny yourself of that. Because I think about this is that, you have people who are in physical prisons, body, mind, and spirit. And then there are those that are outside, but then we put ourselves in a prison, and don't do that. If you have an inkling, you have something that you want to do, then give yourself permission to go and do it.
I love it. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And I know how valuable it is.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. I am grateful to be here today.
Awesome. Peeps, this is Michelle Nedelec. Thank you for being here with us today. Be sure to share the show with your friends, subscribe to it, and we look forward to helping you build your business. We love helping entrepreneurs grow.
Are you running a business over 7 figures but still struggling with technology headaches? Pay attention, you do not want to miss this offer. This podcast episode is brought to you by Awareness Strategies, who is offering a custom-built digital adoption roadmap for anyone running a business over 7 figures who's wanting to grow their business in the next 5 years. And it's not just a roadmap, they offer full implementation as well if that scares the out of you. Check out awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap for more details today. The link's in the show's notes. Don't regret not doing this. Do it now. That's awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap.